Today, I want to talk to you about the most powerful secret of fluency, and it is called jump food. So, I want you to imagine a future where you don't just speak English, but a future where you feel fluent and confident in any situation. A future where you can just open your mouth and you can speak English freely, confidently, and fluently. Can you even imagine it? Can you still visualize it? So, by consistently integrating jump food, the secret power I'm going to give you today, if you just consistently integrate it into your routine, you're not going to just learn English, but you start to build a sustainable fluency system. And listen to me, this is not a quick fix. It is not just another hack. No, I'm going to give you a secret weapon that will propel you from good to genuinely fluent starting right now. So, the Enigma unveiled, explained, revealed. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt locked, blocked, trying to level up your English? And listen, it is not about just studying more. It is not about just doing more exercises. It is not about just doing more and more homework and grammar exercises. No, studying more is not the solution. It is not about big vocabulary lists and notebooks where you keep notes of all the words you're learning. No, we are talking about a concept that most English learners completely ignore. Something that could unlock your fluency faster than anything else. So get ready to discover the secret ingredient to accelerating your English acquisition. Jump food. Much more than just words. So what exactly is jump food? It is definitely not a McDonald's or Burger King meal. No. Jump food is a powerful English learning linguistic strategy. Okay? It is a powerful linguistic learning, English learning linguistic strategy. Okay? So, Sorry. Yes, back on. So think of those moments where one word or one single phrase instantly elevates your understanding and allows you, gives you permission to jump to a higher level of comprehension. This is what we are talking about here, okay? A strategy that will allow you, empower you to leaps and jumps of improvement, especially if you feel stuck when you try to learn and speak English, okay? We'll break down, we'll explain, clarify using real world examples of junk food and show you how to recognize it in everyday English. Why does your mind crave, hungers, asks? Why does your brain craves, desperately wants junk food? Because our brain was not built to memorize lists. We have never accepted, we have never liked boring memorizing homeworks, boring memorizing lists, notebooks. That's just not how we were meant to learn English or any language whatsoever. Our brain is designed, wired, connected, designed for connection and for pattern recognition. Pattern recognition is like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What is the next number? Uh, if you recognize the pattern, you will know that the next number is 12. Another example: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. What is the next number here? If you recognized the pattern, you will know that the next number in this sequence is 15 because the pattern is increasing by 2. That's the pattern. Increasing by 2. Here we have even numbers, multiples of 2, and divided by 2. And here we have odd numbers: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. These are odd numbers. What is the pattern? What is the pattern? What is the logic? Each number is an increment, an increase of 2. This is pattern recognition. And that is why we love games where we have to recognize patterns, because this is how we love to learn. This is how we were made to learn. Okay? This is how our brain loves to learn a language. Okay? So, jump food taps into this natural learning process, creating stronger neural avenues for language retention to absorb what you have learned. Okay? Now, if you are understanding that I am about to give you a very powerful secret to improve your English learning, if you are understanding, you must be asking, okay, so what exactly is jump food, Felipe? A little bit of water. Jump food is any word, phrase, sentence, phrasal verb, idiomatic expression, or concept that once learned provides a disproportionately large leap in your English comprehension and speaking ability. Listen to me very carefully, very carefully. Jump food is any word, phrase, phrasal verb, idiomatic expression, or concept that once you learn it, it provides a disproportionately large leap, large jump in your English comprehension and speaking ability. It's not just another vocabulary word, it is a key that unlocks, opens a higher level of communication. For example, for example, learning English through stories. Okay? Learning English through amazing, super interesting stories like Sherlock Holmes and the mystery of the Boscombe Pool. This is a powerful example of jump food. Okay? A different way of learning and observing English that gives you an extraordinary jump and improvement in your English learning. So let's do it right now. Sherlock Holmes and the Mystery of the Boscombe Pool. Chapter 1, The Beginning. One morning, I was having breakfast with my wife when a telegram arrived. It was from Sherlock Holmes. The telegram came from Sherlock Holmes, and the telegram read, or it was written, or the message of the telegram was, "Hey, Watson, are you free for a day or two? We must go to the west of England to help with the Boscombe Pool murder, assassination, killing, investigation. Shall be glad. I will be happy if you can come with me, because I think that a change will be good for us." And Watson, dear Watson, shall you choose to accept the mission, we are leaving Paddington Station on the 11:15, a quarter after 11 a.m. train. And at that moment, Dr. Watson's wife asked him a question: "Will you go?" said his wife, looking across at him. "Are you going to go?" To which he answered, "Oh, I really don't know what to say, because I have a lot of sick people to visit. After all, at the end of the day, Dr. Watson is a doctor. So that's what he does. That is his job, to help, to visit, to treat sick people, especially in the past. Okay, years ago, it was very common for doctors to visit their patients who were sick. When people get sick, they go to the hospital, they go to the doctor, they go to see the doctor, they visit the doctor, they visit the hospital. A long time ago, many years ago, it was very common for doctors to visit patients who got sick. So Dr. Watson answered, "I don't know. I have a lot of sick people to visit." And then his wife replied, "Well, honey, Unstruther can do your work for you. You're looking tired, exhausted, with little energy, the opposite of energized, excited. Okay? You're looking tired, exhausted. And I think a change from your work will be good for you. And there's something else. Honey, you know what? You're always so interested in Mr. Holmes's cases. I think you should go." And then Dr. Watson answers again. "Oh, as always, you're right, my dear. But if I do go, I must get ready immediately, because the train leaves in half an hour." Chapter 2. Chapter 2, Dr. Watson meets Sherlock Holmes. Watson is narrating the story. My early life as a soldier taught me, past of to teach, taught me, gave me a lesson. The lesson is to travel with very few things. So, back when he was young, Dr. Watson used to be a soldier. Okay? He used to be a soldier in the past. And during his time as a soldier, he learned a very powerful lesson, which was to travel with very few things and to pack quickly. To pack quickly. So, to pack is to organize your bags to travel. Okay? This is packing, to organize your bags to travel. So, this is a lesson he learned years ago in his early life as a soldier. So, in a few minutes, he was on his way to Paddington train station very quickly. He packed very quickly. He learned this lesson when he was a soldier. He got just a few things, and in a few minutes, he was on his way to Paddington train station. And there at Paddington train station, he found his old friend, Sherlock Holmes, in his long gray, long gray, the color, coat, and wearing his favorite hat. And he, Sherlock Holmes, he was walking up and down the platform. Sherlock Holmes starts speaking. It's really very good of you to come, Watson. I need a friend like you at times like this. No one can help me as you can. Please keep two corner places, and I will buy the train tickets. They get on the train and they start the trip. Sherlock Holmes went, bought the tickets, acquired the tickets. They got on the train and they started traveling to Boscombe Pool to investigate a murder, an assassination. Okay? And during much of the train journey, they were alone. And Sherlock Holmes had a large number of newspapers with him. And for much of the trip, for much of the train journey, he just wrote and thought. Okay? And finally, Sherlock Holmes got the newspapers and he made a very large bowl with the newspapers, and he made the papers into a very large bowl. So he got all the newspapers and he made them into a very large bowl, and he got the newspapers, he made them into a very large bowl, and he threw them, the newspapers, away, keeping only one newspaper. He kept only one newspaper. And then Dr. Watson asks him, have you heard anything about the case? Okay? Sorry. Sherlock Holmes asks Dr. Watson, have you heard anything about the case? Dr. Watson answers, no, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything. I have not seen a newspaper for some days. Actually, I haven't seen a newspaper for some days. Sherlock Holmes starts explaining. Well, the London papers have not written much about it. The London papers have not written much about the case, about the assassination, about the Boscombe Pool murder, assassination. Okay? I, Sherlock Holmes, I have read them all. I have read all the newspapers that have not written much about the murder, the newspapers that have not written much about the assassination. They did not give it, they did not give the murder a lot of attention, consideration. They did not care much about the murder and the assassination. The London papers have not written much about the Boscombe Pool murder, and I know this because I have read them all. I have read all all the newspapers because I am Sherlock Holmes. This is my job. I need to know all the facts. And you know what, Watson? This seems to be, it looks like, I have the impression, I have the opinion. It appears, it looks like, it seems to be one of those cases which look very clear. So it's going to be easy. No, that's exactly why Sherlock Holmes thinks it'll be difficult. I have read them all. The London papers have not written much about it. I, Sherlock Holmes, I have read them all the newspapers. And it seems, it looks like, it appears to be, I have the impression, I have the opinion that this is one of those cases which looks very clear. And that is why, that is precisely why I think it'll be difficult. And then Dr. Watson asks, isn't that strange? Oh no, Sherlock Holmes continues. Cases which seem, cases which look like, appear, cases that gives us the impression that are very easy, like the Boscombe Pool murder, are actually often frequently the hardest. I find, I believe, I think, in my opinion. But just now, things look very serious for the son of the murdered man. Dr. Watson asks, so, you are sure that it is a murder? Not yet, Watson, but it definitely looks like a murder. It appears to be a murder. It seems to be a murder. I believe someone was murdered, assassinated. It seems to be. But I must believe nothing until I have studied all the facts. Now, I shall explain in a few words what I have read. Chapter 3, The Man That Never Came Back. So this is a little map of the area, okay? Sherlock Holmes speaking. Boscombe Valley is near Ross in Herefordshire, west of England. A large part of the land there, a large part of the land in Boscombe Valley, which is near Ross. Boscombe Valley, which is near Ross, and Ross is in Herefordshire, and Herefordshire is in the west of England. A large part of the land in Boscombe Valley belongs to a man named Mr. John Turner. Mr. John Turner is the proprietor of most of the land in Boscombe Valley. He owns, he possesses, he has property of most of the land, of a large part of the land. Okay? It belongs to a man by the name of Mr. John Turner. He, this man, is the proprietor. He possesses most of the land in Boscombe Valley. And he made a lot of money in Australia and returned to live in England some years ago. And his neighbor, Mr. Charles McCarthy, Mr. John Turner's neighbor, his neighbor, John Turner's neighbor, Mr. Charles McCarthy, was also in Australia. This is Sherlock Holmes explaining the story to Dr. Watson on the train. They are on the train on their way to Boscombe Pool to investigate the murder, and Sherlock Holmes is explaining what he has already discovered, figured out, what he has already found out about the murder. So, Boscombe Valley is located in a place near, close to Ross, which is in Herefordshire, which is in the west of England. And a large part of the land in Boscombe Valley belongs to Mr. John Turner, who made a lot of money in Australia and returned to live in England some years ago. His neighbor, Mr. Charles McCarthy, was also in Australia, and today he lives at Hartley, which is a farm that also belongs to Mr. John Turner. Okay? So, Hartley Farm. This is kind of a picture of Hartley Farm in Boscombe Valley, Hartley Farm, where Charles McCarthy lives, but it belongs to Mr. John Turner. Sherlock Holmes is explaining the two men, John Turner and Charles McCarthy, they first met and became friends when they lived in Australia. And when they came back to England, they have chosen to live in the same area, in the same neighborhood. Okay? It's like if it were today, we would say, for example, they came back from Australia and they have chosen to live in Manhattan in the same neighborhood. Okay, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Jardins, Itaim Bibi, they have chosen to live in the same neighborhood. Mr. John Turner, who is the proprietor, who has possession, property of most of the land, John Turner is the richer. And it seems, it looks like, it appears that there are signs, evidence pointing to the fact that Charles McCarthy pays Mr. Turner for the use of his farm. So, Charles McCarthy lives in Hartley, which is a farm, Hartley, a farm that belongs to Mr. Turner. Okay? A farm that belongs to Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner, who is the richer and the proprietor of most of the land, including including Hathley, the farm where Charles McCarthy lives today. That farm is property of Mr. Turner. It belongs to Mr. Turner. Okay? And McCarthy, it looks like, it appears that there are signs, there is evidence pointing to the fact that Charles McCarthy pays Mr. Turner for the use of his farm. So that makes Charles McCarthy the tenant and Mr. Turner the landlord. Mr. Turner is the landlord. Mr. Turner, Sherlock Holmes is explaining, Mr. Turner is the landlord, the proprietor, the lord of the land. Mr. McCarthy is the tenant. Every month, he pays Mr. Turner for living in his farm. And every month, Mr. Turner receives the payment. The proprietor, the landlord, the lord of the land, he owns the land. The land belongs to him. He is the landlord, the proprietor. And he rents his property to Mr. McCarthy, who becomes the tenant. Every month, he pays the rent to Mr. Turner for living in his farm. They, Mr. Turner and Charles McCarthy, they seem to be good friends and they spent quite a lot of the time together. McCarthy has one son who is 18 years old. And Mr. Turner, the richer, the landlord, the proprietor, the powerful man, he has a daughter who is about the same age, 18 years old. The wives of both men are dead. They are both widows. They were married. They were married, and they wives, both Mr. Turner's wife and Mr. McCarthy's wife, they died. They are dead. They are both widows. They are not divorced. They are not single. They are not married. They used to be married, but they did not divorce. They lost their wives because they died. The women died. The two families lived quietly and did not mix much with other people. Okay, so they were quiet families. They didn't hang out, didn't talk much with other people. They lived quietly, privately. They, of course, I'm just gonna joke here. They did not post on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. They did not share. They did not open their lives on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And of course, this is a joke because this is a Sherlock Holmes story. So there wasn't even social media back then. It just so you can understand. If they lived today, they would not post on Instagram, they would not post on TikTok, they would not open their lives on social media because they kept their lives private and they lived quietly and they did not mix. Okay? They did not mix much with other people. Okay? They did not mix much with other people. Okay? McCarthy had two servants in his farm, but Turner, the richer, the powerful, the landlord, the proprietor, in his big house, he had several more. He had about six servants, according to everything that Sherlock Holmes was able to find out, to discover, to figure out, to encounter all the pieces of information. That is all I have been able to find out, to figure out. to discover about these these families. Okay? About these families. Okay? And then Dr. Watson asks, what about the mother then? What about the mother then? Sherlock Holmes replies, don't hurry me, Watson. Just listen, man. I'm coming to that. I'm going to get to the mother. But don't hurry me. Calm down. Don't you pressure me. Don't you put pressure on me, okay? Don't you hurry me, okay? Calm down, relax, and listen. So, last Monday, June the 3rd, Charles McCarthy, not the powerful, not the richer, not the landlord, but the neighbor who lived in the property of Mr. Turner, Hartley Farm. Charles McCarthy, the neighbor, not the powerful, richer landlord. No, that was Mr. John Turner. Okay? Sherlock Holmes is going to explain about the neighbor who lived in a part of the land that belonged to Mr. Turner. McCarthy, who used to live in a piece of Mr. John Turner's land, a small part of his land, a farm, Hartley, which was property of Mr. Turner. Okay, so we are talking about Charles McCarthy, the neighbor, not Mr. Turner, who is the richer, powerful man. We are going to talk about Mr. Charles McCarthy, who had a son who was about 18 years old. The richer, powerful landlord, Mr. Turner, had a daughter. Okay? So, last Monday, Charles McCarthy went to the town of Ross with one of his servants. He had two servants. He went to the town of Ross. Remember, the murder, the murder took place in Boscombe Valley, which is near Ross. Ross is located in Herefordshire. Herefordshire is in the west of England. So the murder, the assassination took place, happened in Boscombe Valley, which is in the town of Ross. Charles McCarthy, on last Monday, he went. He went to the town. He went to the town. He went to the town of Ross with one of his two servants. This was in the morning. And while during the period of time, he, Charles McCarthy, was there in Ross, in the city of Ross, he he said to his servant to hurry because he had an important meeting with someone at 3 o'clock that afternoon. So they, just a moment. So this is Sherlock Holmes explaining the murder to Dr. Watson, okay? So they, Charles McCarthy and his servant, who had gone with him to the city of Ross, okay? Okay? They they drove back. They drove back. They drove back quickly to his house at Hartley, the farm. Okay? Sorry. Hartley, the farm. Why? Because he had told his servant that he had an important meeting with someone at 3 o'clock that afternoon. So while they were in the city of town, he told his servant to hurry, and they drove back quickly. They drove back quickly to his house at Hartley. And just before 3 o'clock, McCarthy left the farmhouse, Hartley, okay? The farmhouse, Hartley, sorry, just before 3 o'clock, he left his farmhouse at Hartley and he walked down alone in direction of Boscombe Pool. And he never came back. Chapter 4. His son followed him with a gun. What happened to him? Why did he never come back from there? Why? Why did he never come back? What happened to him? Who did he have a Meeting with. Who did he have a meeting with? Who did he go there to meet? Who murdered Charles McCarthy? This is what we are going to find out. This is what we are going to figure out in our next video. Okay? God bless you. See you in the next video. Bye.